Welcome to the Get Published podcast, sponsored by Brodie Consulting Group. To get more information about our publishing and coaching services, go to getpublishedpodcast.com. Hello, I am Paul Brodie, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Get Published podcast, where we help authors get published with a proven system that works. Today, we're being joined by Brad Dixon, author of So, What Do You Do? Brad, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me, Paul. Appreciate being here. Love to do this.
All right, are you ready to get started?
I am.
Here we go. Question number 1. What is the one piece of advice that you would give to a first-time author who is currently writing their book?
Well, one of the things that I have done, and I'm working on some initial notes for a second edition of one of the books that I published years ago. And one of the things that I have found when I sit down with a blank piece of paper and kind of go through things, I tend to go all over the place and whatnot. So one of the things that I do, which has really helped my writing ability in getting things done quickly without taking weeks and months to get the job done, I write out bullet points, and I actually will do like a live broadcast on Facebook, and I'll do like 10 different 15 minute live broadcasts. I'm building my tribe, getting things ready for the book, and then I take that and I send it over to have it transcribed. There's a lot of transcription services, Fiverr.com, and all those different places that you can get someone to transcribe your audio video for you. And then you take that transcription and you simply polish it. And so that's been a really great tool for me as far as writing a book. So maybe that might help some of your listeners have a good idea to be able to build their tribe while in the process of writing the book and getting all of that done. And it just speeds up the process, at least it does for me.
When you talk about two of my favorite words, repurposing content.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is such a great strategy. It's one of the things I always recommend is that you have trainings, live videos, recorded videos, whatever content you've created in the past, you can take that and use it for the basis of your book. One of my clients from a few months ago, for his website, he had over 8,000 words of content that he's going to be able to repurpose and put that into a financial planning book. So it's really is, if you have content out there, don't be afraid to take it, repurpose it, and as you mentioned, just put a little polish on it.
Yeah, it has really, number one, sped up my writing process, as well as just simplified the whole process for me. So.
Well, what do you feel is the hardest part about getting published?
Well, I did a self-published book back. It was right at about 2000, called "Give Away the Farm to Pay Off the Mansion," and that's the book that we're going to do a second edition on because everything has completely changed over the last 18 years. Probably should have done it a long time ago, but I think. As far as self-publishing, it's just getting out there and getting a tribe built, getting a following, getting out on Amazon, getting to the best seller in some category, choosing a category that you can become a bestseller in. And so that's probably the biggest, hardest part about at least self-publishing.
And let's talk a little bit about marketing since we're talking about launches and when to get to that number one spot. So please share a marketing strategy that you have used in your book launch that worked well.
Again, as I said, it's building that tribe. Jeff Walker has a great program going on, product launch formula. You've probably seen that. A lot of authors and coaches use that where it's 3 videos, out over a week or 2 weeks' time, then ending with the actual book launch. And so those are some of the things, getting that tribe built, providing good content that they're going to want to read the whole book, and so getting them excited about what's coming. And then we always did, once I get that tribe built, we do a free week on Amazon, get the reviews coming in, that sort of thing. Family, friends, everybody I knew, hey, go check out my book, write me a review. And so those are all critical things. And then the final thing is that choosing a category that you can become a bestseller on Amazon. If you write a business book, you're probably not going to be #1 bestseller on Amazon in the category of business. But pick a subcategory that you can become, bestseller on Amazon, and that really helps to solidify your authority by being best in a specific category. So those are just some of the main points I'd put there.
Well, and you bring up a great point about category research. I think it's one of the most important things. One of the things that I always recommend is with Amazon, you can get into 3 categories, but there's actually ways that you can get into 10 categories. And typically what I recommend is that you want to have at minimum 5 competitive categories and 5 not so competitive. Now, you don't want just some easy category that, you have like 2 sales, you become a bestseller. That's too gimmicky. But if you have it where there's a decent level of competition, that maybe the #1 book is maybe in the top 10,000 to 15,000 ranking, then that's a pretty fair category. If you can typically take #1 in that category as long as you have the right launch plan. And that's one thing when I'm always consulting with my clients is this is the game plan. As long as you have these 3 pillars, then you're going to be in good shape with a marketing system. And typically those 3 pillars are having a great looking book cover with a good title, a strong subtitle talking about the benefit, having a well-edited book, and having compelling book description, sales copy that's going to help sell that book. And as long as you have those things, then you can take our system and you can plug it in and just make sure that it's not a gimmicky thing where it's #1 for 5 minutes, you take a print screen, you're a best-selling author. It's just like when a new album comes out, exactly. Just like a new movie. It needs to be #1 for at least a week, in my view, to become a true bestseller. We always talk about core values, and 2 of my biggest core values are truth and service. And I always want to be very honest and upfront with the client, going, hey, this is what needs to happen, and don't take a print screen if it's been on there for 5 minutes at #1. Wait a few days, because that's the only way you're going to really have a successful launch, and most importantly, be able to call yourself a bestseller.
You and I have to talk about your services. So, yeah.
Well, it's just doing things the right way, and that's one of the things I always talk about. To be considered the #1 best-selling author, it's got to be for at least a week. It can't be just for a few minutes in a print screen. And I think there's a lot of publishers out there that do that, and it's not the right way to do business.
I agree.
Well, let's talk about your favorite book. So what is your favorite book, and what was the #1 thing that you learned from it?
I have so many, and they kind of both tie in together. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and the Bible. And I mentioned both of those together for this. You asked me why that was my #1 book. The Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And the Bible also says that the power of life and death is in the tongue. And so many people, whether you believe the Bible or God or anything else, so many people go through their lives and they're negative. Oh, God, my life sucks, or, oh, I hate my job, or, whatever. And they just continually speak negative, negative, negative. And no matter what your belief system is, if you continually speak those negative thoughts or think those negative thoughts, it affects your life. It affects the direction and slant of your life. And Think and Grow Rich, that was really all about how to train your mind, how to do the positive things in your life that will affect your entire trajectory of your life. And so that was a very, very important book to me, and the Bible for many reasons, but Think and Grow Rich specifically for business focus and mental growth and knowledge.
Well, I love that you mentioned that, because that's one of the biggest things. It's not just about training your body, it's about training your mind, and it's about training your mind every day. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't necessarily do. They might be exercising their bodies, but you also have to exercise your mind, because you're always going to be battling negativity and negative thoughts, and you have to be able to train your mind to resist those.
Absolutely.
Well, Brad, I want to thank you for being a guest on the show. What is the best way for people to find you online?
Well, I actually run a marketing firm, and so the best way to reach us, October is our 20th anniversary, and so we're excited about that. And so the best way to reach out to me is going to be at www.amd, that's Advanced Marketing Dynamics, amd.today/intro. So it's amd.today/intro. And a lot of free gifts there coming in October. So we're excited about that. So you can get my books there and all sorts of things like that. So.
Well, Brad, I want to thank you once again for being on the show, and I wish you all the best in your author journey ahead.
Thank you very much for having me, Paul. Appreciate it.
Thanks again for joining us today. To learn more about how to get your book published with a proven system that works, grab a free copy of my book at getpublishedpodcast.com.